So we're just gonna weed around the pots. Go back in on the side of the house by the pots and on the side of Miss D's house. Where that okra is, where the red okra, like from the corn over there, and just go again around the tires. I'm saying pots, the tires under the thing. Thank you. Okay, morning. Sending you some warm, positive vibrations. So just wanted to check in really quick. Got a quick workout in out in the garden, and we're cracking coconuts, cracking some coconuts, and always clarity in the early morning with clean air in the gardening. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. We have some coconuts that are older, and when you're spending time in the kitchen, like I do with my grandma Lou, this is a great opportunity to learn, right? And as I say quite often, we're not handling the food, so there's a lot of information that we are missing out on. So we're going to check out some of these coconuts, and these are the mature coconuts. We have some young coconuts outside, more of like a jelly coconut, but right now we're working with the mature coconuts, so stay tuned. Greetings all natural gardening. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body-Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer, natural born woman, shout out to you, whatever your expression is. Love of a natural lifestyle. And on this channel, I share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance. So this is what we're working with this early day. This is real life. We got stuff to do, and I'm up super early when it's dark. So this, I don't know, sometimes I wonder how people are doing, but I was like, this is what I'm doing over here. I got real life, and which is why I prioritize play and movement. I got a lot of stuff going on, and I got a lot to get done. So I share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance, really accepting, appreciating, celebrating, being creative with the features that I have been divinely assigned while here on earth. I have been assigned this package. This is part of my assignment out here. So I'm working with and being creative with it. Bunch of flat locks. This is how it's working, and I'm fine with it also being a peach fuzz. So that's off the table, so we're not concerned about that. It grows. I nourish myself from the inside with all this fresh, whole living, unprocessed foods. That's off the table, right? And I'm also embracing the different phases of life, every stage, every phase. And I just affirm being strong enough and clear enough to be an acceptance of all the different things that are going to be coming down the line. I'm into reality. So the other things I like to share on this channel: lifestyle practices, peaceful consumption, food that loves you back, your hair, your skin, your nails, your vitality, your organs, your colon, your heart, your arteries, so they're not all clogged up. Peaceful consumption, garden therapy, garden outside. Somebody's helping me in the garden today. And a personal movement practice, Harriet squats, 5 a.m. So reach out to info@body-culinary.com, or you can go right over to Discord, download the app. That's free. Download the app. I'm Body-Culinary. That's my server on the app. And you will need to fill out a Flower Fit application so you can get it there. Also on Holistic Fit, if you just dig through on the page, there's a link for the application to see if it's a good match for you. There's Flower Fit Community and Flower Fit Group and Life Coaching. And that coaching is centered around getting into action around things that we say we value. Health, your best investment, the garden, and your movement practice. And peaceful consumption. These are foundational. These are leverage lifestyle activities that are going to give you back so much more for the investment of your time, your focus, and your energy. It's a viable currency. That's why all these folks that on these platforms are making money off of our attention, our focus. Very hypnotic, very entertaining. However, are you getting something back? Are you inspired to get into action after you come away from all of this entertainment? So in any event, yeah, that's what's going on over here. Feel free to like, comment respectfully, subscribe, join me for movement practice. Check out Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. That is a guide to whole living foods lifestyle. Lifestyle, not a diet. If you had loads of acne, like I have had, there's natural beauty, no product. So using all this food you're paying your money for, that's what we're using as the products, primarily inside and then also on the hair and skin. Basically food. So that cuts out a lot of toxins. And let's see, healthy eating for men, and there's the raw vegan goddess cakes workshop. That is a bit, and you don't need a dehydrator, you don't need agave, you don't need honey. You cut all of that stuff out. We can use that, but we don't need it. You don't need it. And it drives your food bill down, drives your weight of your food bags up. So we're just going to chit-chat while I'm opening up these coconuts. And a lot of these are older that I have today. So I always like to open everything up and see what's going on. But this is how you learn. You're not learning because your hands are not in the food. You can intellectualize and look vicariously through other people, but until you get into action, you'll have limited access to consistent, sustainable results until you get into consistent action. If we're just voyeurs, right? These screens can make you a voyeur. We're just peeping through a little box, a little portable screen, but you never get into action. And you can also have so much information overload that you're paralyzed through fright and fear. You're triggered into paralysis and you don't take any action. And that's not what we want to do over here. So if you're interested in getting into action around the garden, so this is closer to a blue meat coconut. So this one didn't have any water in it. This one was already dry, and it looks almost a little bit translucent. This is closer to what we'd call a blue meat coconut. Or this is another example of one I opened earlier. So when I opened this particular coconut, it was all dried. So shout out to my homies out there. Special shout out to Miss Lily. You know who you are. I used to be a junk food addict. I've shared that before. Junk food junkie. Even a health food junkie. And I've eaten every candy bar, eaten every high-end, low-end junk. And for those folks that like candy bars, sometimes I could tell you, but you don't have a frame of reference for what I'm talking about. When you have the experience, that's when the light bulbs are going to go off. So this tastes so sweet. This tastes just like an almond joy. The way that coconut is, and this is concentrated. This is so sweet. So these can get so dried out and sweet when you open them up. It becomes tastes almost like syrupy sweet. And this is just the coconut meat. So there's so many different types of states, so many different types of coconuts, and so many different states that you can find the coconut in. So now if you eat the coconut, this is one of the best fats for the brain. This is excellent for your brain. Trust me, I got some clients spooning down coconut oil because they're anxious about Alzheimer's, right? Coconut is excellent fat for your brain, for your child's brain. And this, my loves, is loaded full of fiber. There's no refined sugar. There's no white sugar. There's no sugar cane that's been processed where all the nutrition and enzymes and life force and vitality and nutrients have been extracted, and you're left with something that's sweet that taxes your blood sugar. So they're playing a dirty trick. Dirty trick. Your tongue tastes the sweetness. It's expecting nutrition, but no nutrition ever comes. See, I like to break things down nice and simple. So these are sweet. This is like candy. This is like candy. That's how sweet it is. And again, when I crack this one, it doesn't have water. So I know how to check all the different coconuts, what to look for. And that's when you come spend time in the kitchen, spend time in the garden. That's how you're going to learn. Read, but also experience, right? So you know what kinds of discoloration to look for. You know how to smell. I'm always smelling. So this is sweet, but this one is drier than this one. So again, check out Flower Fit Community and Coaching, coming together around activities, not clicks, activities. I don't give two petunias if you have a perm or if you got blue eyes. That's not my concern. My concern is treatment. It's treatment. Not here to shame each other for our food choices or how you wear your hair or the shape of your body. That's what we're not doing over here. It's your personal journey. I had a Jerry Curl and a gold tooth. One time I had a little bob wig. So it's a journey of radical self-acceptance. Get in where you fit in. Take what resonates and what you can apply that enhances your life and just leave the rest. See? Peaceful consumption. Peaceful consumption. It's mind your business fitness. When you're huffing and puffing in that workout, you ain't got no time to be concerned about other people. If anything, the only time to perhaps reference someone else is when it's an inspiration and when someone else is showing you a new possibility of what you're able to do. So anyway, these are our coconuts. So my early day, and there's so much we can do with these shells. We've got children. This is a little business. I eat so much coconuts. This is one of my meats over here. I could do so much with coconut shells. I can make bowls. You can make jewelry. Hint, hint to my little young entrepreneurs out there, for my moms or teachers that are looking for projects to do with your young people. And also, when I burn this, sometimes these will burn like hot coals. So this is excellent for me to create ash for my garden. Look at that. Everything can be recycled. So I have had mountains, several years worth of coconut shells. So that's a whole business right there. So much you can do with that. All right. So, question and contemplation today. Do you keep you safe? This is the contemplation. So early in the day, usually 4:30 a.m. I don't know if anybody else out there is an early riser. I am. That's part of the day. That and the movement practice. In those quiet moments, you can really tap into your own, no diss to your preacher, your leader, but your own divine that you have been assigned, onboard innate, onboard intelligence. You can hear, you can sense it, you can hear it and discern more when it's quiet. Let me just say that. So to create curiosity around quiet would greatly benefit us. It's so much entertainment. It's an imbalance. I find it's actually depleting. Social media can get so performative, so sometimes, again, I like to luxuriate, but sometimes I don't feel performative. I wouldn't even come on here and share anything. Who got time for that? So anyway, the question in the quiet moments, stuff comes to me. I'm sure if you spend some quiet time in the garden, or if you catch the sunrise, or you do your movement practice in the early day, your own intelligence, it just kicks in on a whole nother level. Clarity to questions, to things that you're working on or working through. So what came up for me today, meditation is, to me, deep breathing and relaxation. Contemplation is asking a question of your own intelligence. And sometimes things just bubble up to the surface. So today I was just thinking, do you protect you? Do you keep you safe? This simple, profound question. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you keep you safe? You, safety meaning definitely your reproductive organs. Do you, or I, we can't control other people. However, and whatever could have happened to us or might have happened to us in the past, in this particular moment, our lives is 110% our responsibility, right? So I'm wary of disempowering language. Sometimes you just might catch it and become aware of it, or language that has a tone of you feeling hopeless, or something I mentioned in a previous video, a language of learned helplessness. Ooh, this can be anybody. Think of the cultural narrative. Think of the what your family or generations of your folks have experienced. Do you hear that tone a lot in humans on the internet, in the groups that you're surrounded by? Do you hear it in the men? Do you hear it in the women? Right? Without making ourselves bad or wrong. Even if we're not bad or wrong, we're still responsible. And even if we are in ignorance, the choices that we make, we will still have to live with the consequences. So this is why I like principles and patterns over people and personalities, because they can help you get real clear and discerning about what action you need to take. That's what I like to know. What action do I need to take? And I'm not immune. I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint. I just have an awareness. Even with all that I know, it is still it is so easy to be automatically triggered, to become mentally paralyzed, overthinking, and not get into action, because we're in a time where all this information just, our head becomes very, very heavy and you don't know where to start, or it's just like an overload. So quiet can give you access. And so today, in this early day, the question for contemplation, it's a question you can ask yourself. You can lay on the floor, you can sit quietly, you can sit in the park on your lunch break. Do you do what's within your capacity to keep yourself safe? That's number one. And then what also just came up as I was thinking about that, the folks that you choose to engage with, especially intimately, because that is a choice. Without making bad or wrong, we are responsible. Do the people that you engage with, do they keep you safe? I'm not saying go have a big conversation. You don't keep me safe. You need to keep me safe. Are you observing the patterns? Do you choose to engage and put yourself around in the proximity of folks who you can't trust their decisions, or if you watch their decision-making process, that these folks don't have as a priority their safety, or perhaps their safety and your safety, or especially your safety because you're responsible for yourself, right? This is a principle. So with that principle, if you're keeping yourself safe, that would apply to what you're chewing, to what you're watching. Sometimes we may not realize a lot of what we're choosing to watch could be re-traumatizing us indirectly, and these things can have us shut down and go into analysis paralysis, or we're just triggering up so many emotions and triggering those 5 basic human fears that I've mentioned on this channel before, which are fear of loss of love or never finding love, fear of poverty, fear of old age and death, fear of criticism. What's the other one? Oh man, might have said that. Fear of loss of love, fear of poverty, fear of old age and death, fear of criticism. One more, sickness. There are 5 basic primal human fears, and they're triggered all the time. So without, even if we don't know everything, without comprehending certain things about our psyche, it's practical. It's very easy for us to be manipulated and to be triggered, where we have autopilot behaviors that bypasses all logic. No matter how smart, how many degrees, how much money in your pocket, it triggers your subconscious, that ego, which its purpose is to protect you, and it has us acting out in ways to protect ourselves. For example, self-soothing in a sense is a form of protection. However, a lot of times with a lot of our self-soothing habits, we're choosing to put our reproductive organs in harm's way for someone that may superficially make us feel better, or to go to non-nutritive foods, or to narcotics that will alter the chemistry in our brains in an effort to soothe and make ourselves feel better. However, it's very clear now the negative consequences or negative side effects of a lot of these self-soothing substances. See, this has nothing to do with gurus or religions. These are just basics. Companies understand it. Predators peddling products to you on the street or to make you more quote-unquote beautiful, they understand these things. We can come out of school and college not understanding these basic principles, and even with this knowledge and an awareness, it's not embedded into our subconscious. So when you don't get into action and consistent action, we are not making deposits into shifting our subconscious, where a lot of our behaviors lie. The triggered mindless behaviors. We're so busy making ourselves bad or wrong, or trying to take another medication, or even use pills in an effort. And nutrition does work. However, to reprogram the mind or put some other instructions in there conscientiously and intentionally. Everybody else is giving us instructions. That's how the brain is working. The pictures, the image, the visuals, even if you're not having these experiences, when you're watching the movie screens, it's all different sets of the instructions. The body and the brain are responding. So if we're going to be programmed, why not program yourself? And one of our first lines of defense is feeding. I know we want to think of the muscles and the skin, which, by the way, with the best care, everybody's going to age, and we're going to lay down our coat for the body. I didn't make it up. It's going to happen. So I'm with the policy of once you can go into acceptance, sometimes the mourning of the loss of youth is going to go out the window at some point, right? Different things that we hadn't planned on, it's going to happen. Relationships end. The more you can wrap your mind around and accept that without just being tempted to go into the fantasy story in order to avoid what reality is, the better off. Then you can get about the business. Okay, this is going to happen. Let me start making some deposits of health insurance and emotional stability insurance and mental stability, literally for the health of your brain insurance. And we have access. We can have access through lifestyle practices. 3 simple ones. Peaceful consumption, food that's not leaving a lot of toxic chemicals behind in your arteries, toxic chemicals for your nervous system to deal with, toxic chemicals and substances that have been refined to the point where they give no more nutrition to your nervous system, right? You see here, we didn't have to use any labels. Let's just think about the function and the performance of the body. If we don't have high octane fueling for the brain, how can we expect to be calm enough for the brain to function and to make good decisions? If we're on the, if we're on a whole stroll, we can't survive without sugar. I was a junk food junkie, I'm telling you. If we get quiet and start to observe when we're stressed at work, we got to run for the vending machine, and we got to run for a cigarette, or we got to run for some herb. Not making bad or wrong, however, only you know by yourself your results, and if they are the results that you ideally want at a 10. I know I don't want to be dependent on substances outside of myself to make myself feel good. My movement practice, I'm getting a lot more back for that investment of my time and my energy. My garden, I'm getting a lot back. Not just food, in terms of relaxation. It's giving me back so much peace and calm. I'm getting a lot of lessons in the garden that I don't get from people, from flawed human beings. Just is what it is. So between peaceful consumption, your movement practice, and garden therapy, these are self-administered therapy, and just so much of your natural intelligence that's not dependent on people and their different agendas. You have access to this intelligence through simple lifestyle practices. Does this make sense, what I'm saying to y'all? So the contemplation for today, you can share if you want, or you don't have to. This is something we'll be discussing in Flower Fit and Flower Fit Coaching and Community. By the way, my contact info for coaching is info@body-culinary.com. So there's life coaching, and it's also community. So the question today is, do you keep yourself safe, and are you surrounded by people, even your partners, your siblings? Do you choose to be around people that you notice that they have a priority with keeping you safe, right? Litmus test, a vetting process. This is not exclusive to women. This is for young women and young girls. Watch people's decision making. I'm wary of someone that would have me compromise my motor skills, right? This is precious, this brain. That would have me compromise my health, the health of my reproductive organs, have me influence me to put at risk the next generation, or bring in some humans that I'm not prepared for here unintentionally. I'm very, very wary, so I can't see comments on here. I'm not going to stay on too long. Let's see. Greetings, Queen Rabe and All Natural Grinding. I'm working on not using substances to cope with life, but it's hard when the noise of the world hits me. Well, then what else could you do than maybe perhaps having a different experience if your frame of reference is now that these things, without making bad or wrong, this is really, really, really key. We're responsible and accountable, but you don't have to make yourself bad or wrong. Just have some compassion. We can have some compassion for ourselves. Compassion doesn't mean complacency, right? If you were dealing with yourself as a child, let's just say you're dealing with yourself as a child. Let's say you had a child and your child was on drugs. Would you beat them? Would you kick them in the back? Would you berate them? Wouldn't you be curious about what would be the best way to be effective at holding space? And wouldn't you desire to have that child feel safe enough to open up to you? I don't know about you. Do any of you know any folks in your family members in your community, people that are very precious to you that have been strung out on substances? Some are more socially acceptable than others. I know, I'm like, why would this person, you wonder what happened to them. We've all experienced some kind of trauma. Why can't they open up? Why can't they be vulnerable? So a lot of these things are not logical. There's more information out today about narcissism and gaslighting. Very helpful. But also PTSD, right? So I desire to be effective. Coaching as a friend, as a sister, as a mother. Doesn't mean martyr or mule. Yet I desire to be effective, and effective would not be me picking up the load for someone else. But hopefully if I can offer tools to someone where they're empowered to take on their own work, that's better, because you trying to take on your partner or somebody else's work, you'll get hurt. most of us are not capable, and it's not sustainable. So I desire to be, effective. So perhaps if you have another experience of something that literally, for example, your movement practice, I cannot emphasize enough. I also realize people have a whole image, picture, feelings around healthy eating. People don't see it as delicious. They see it as a drag. They see it as it takes too much time. That's not the experience that I'm having. Literally, I feel like it's a best kept secret. Your movement practice, you feel so electric. And I have compassion. I know folks that have blockages around moving. But once they get into it, it's like, especially as women, it may be the one area where you can really feel a sense of power in your life. Your body's not going to change in one movement practice, aka one workout. And this is not just for the ego of everybody else to see you. See, that sometimes when people get it twisted. I've had people over the years, they want to get in shape to put on a dress, for a vacation or for a wedding. That's why it usually doesn't last. But if you're doing it because of how it makes you feel, the release, the sweat, the old energy and the anger are caught up in your body and your hips and your hamstrings, you literally get to, it's like a big gigantic scraping of stuff off of you. It's such a release. That's, I see what I thought, it's what's missing. It's what's missing. I don't get that from reality TV. I don't get a release. It's not the same. Something is being stimulated, but a lot of times you identify, oh, I went through that trauma too, or this is funny, or entertainment. And it's not to make it bad or wrong, but it's not enough. It's not the medicine. It's not the self-administered therapy that I'm looking for, right? So your movement practice. See, a lot of times we're thinking the internal judgments. I'm not this, or I'm fat. You may be carrying additional adipose tissue on your body. That's not all of who you are. You are very valuable. All of us are valuable, whatever your weight is. It doesn't matter. We want to be healthy, but that's not the priority. So I invite you to consider your movement practice as your biggest cleanser, a mental cleanser, an emotional cleanser, literally squishing and pumping out your lymphatic system, which cannot get moved and pumped out without vigorous movement, moving old still water out of the body, the energetics, Now, once you learn how to move efficiently, if you only have 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes, efficiently and safely, so you can put the workload where it needs to go and not on your knees or your shoulder joints or your lower back. A lot of us are missing out on a time of our lives. And you can access, it was an epiphany to discover I didn't have to go to a club. I could put the same hot music on and have a blast, literally have a party every day with myself. This is good quality time. A lot of us are using each other like human pacifiers and expecting people who have their own flaws and traumas to make you feel good as if they're obligated to make you feel good. That's our responsibility. That's what we're accountable for. And they're false expectations and narratives, right? So I invite you to uncover. These are leveraged. They're like they're an investment. Your investments of your time and your energy. Anytime you're making an investment, that could be education, a relationship, you should be getting back so much more than what you invested. If I have one seed and I put it in that garden, again, this is why the garden kicks in common sense. That one seed can give me a tree. That's astounding. One seed gives me back so much more fruit. Now, what's missing, I have to go in and nurture the plants and water, weed, and all of that. You have to add something. What's the best movement to cleanse the body and the mind? So again, on natural ground, I can sit here and tell you there's a gazillion exercises. We don't need to do all of them. Now, if I put my trainer hat on, there is a science to exercise selection. And actually, see, y'all get the benefit of me getting up early. This morning, so I did my workout. I put another little workout together on Kwasapeacefull eating on TikTok. So I may take it back down, but it's there right now. It's short, hit it and quit it. So it's just a little example. Now, I don't know where your bodies are, with your injuries, or whatever, but these are basic. You don't need a bunch of equipment, just body movement. Just to give you an example. So if you go onto TikTok, Kwasa with a K, peaceful, like full belly mango, like full belly, eating, Kwasapeacefull eating, there's a mini workout today. So that is a cornerstone of one of my administered therapies. It makes me feel the most good. So it's over there. I can't put everything on every platform. I'm going to keep things short and sweet so I don't overextend myself, so I can balance that out. And so if you want to join me for full workouts, those at 5 a.m., and that's Harriet squats with the focus of Harriet Tubman, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some people can't get up early in the morning. That's one thing, a principle that works. So I'm just sharing with you some of the principles that are tried and true. You feeling down, break up, money ain't right, blah, blah, blah. This, literally, there's not enough money in the world to replace this. There's no money that's worth more than this. So money's a tool. We use it out in society, but we get duped sometimes into thinking that all your worth is in a bag or your outfit or your hair. No, the essence of you, there's not enough money in the world for your time. So are you paying yourself first with the valuable currency of your time? I invite you to consider and I get some of us work at night, we have busy schedules. However, if your narrative, your valid excuses are running your life and you're going for years saying, I don't have time, that's something to consider, because we make our schedules, and I'm sure most of us have a lot of time wasters or things that are not giving us something back for the investment of our time. So if you catch yourself and you having conversations and people saying the same thing, but they're not getting into action about corrective action for what they're complaining about, that could have been your workout. That could have been your movement practice. That could have been you stretching. That could have been you decluttering. That could have been you cutting up fruits and vegetables. So are you keeping yourself safe? Are you keeping yourself out of harm's way? And in keeping yourself out of harm's way, are you placing yourself in position to have access to inspiration and motivation that's sustainable, that's coming from lifestyle practices? Our habits, your habits will make a greater or lesser person of you. Your company will make a greater or lesser person of you. And sometimes that might be your own company with stinking thinking. I'm not immune, but I have the good sense to constantly cultivate an awareness of what's going on and every day do a review of my results. Am I getting into action around what I say is important to me? It doesn't mean perfection. It's a journey. It's a journey. So who's got time to be out here shaming for? I got too much stuff to do. When you humbled on that floor sweating, you be like, shoot, I need to mind my own business. I need all my folks to get through this workout. And then the release you feel at the end is like, oh my gosh, I could have been doing this the whole time. When you discover all the delicious food you can be eating, simple, beautiful food, you like, I could have been doing this the whole time. I could have been doing this the whole time. So I'm sending you all some warm, positive vibration. Contemplation for today. Do I keep myself safe? What does that look like? So hopefully I'll see y'all over in Flower Fit Coaching and Community. You'll need to download the Discord app. You can find me at between these platforms. One of them you'll find a way to if you're looking for me. You'll be able to find me at Kwasapeacefull Eating on TikTok, Kwasapeacefull Eating on FB, or Body-Culinary on Facebook. And it's too many social media platforms for me, so I have to keep them to a minimum. Body-Culinary on YouTube, TikTok, that's about it. I can't, that's enough social media for me. Because I find it can burn you out mentally. Without this, where you going without this? So why do we want to compromise this? When you put something past your lips, the first thing that's taking a hit is your brain and your nervous system. So consider that. I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose. Whatever's going on out there, press pause. You might even need to take a mental health break and lay on the floor and do nothing. I'm big on that. Set the timer maybe for 5 minutes and lay on the floor in fetal position and rest. And cultivate a craving for quiet. These things will nourish you in ways that all of this noise and entertainment cannot. And if you start to implement these simple practices, eventually the busy mind will start to slow down. It will start to slow down. Create a great day on purpose, and I'll see you soon. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. See you soon.